Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here at the Alert Center. We're giving you a preview of what we are anxiously waiting for. We are waiting to hear more from County Attorney Don Klein. We are discussing this case that First Alert has been following since the very start. This is about the Douglas County authorities giving updates on the shooting death of Janidi Ibrahim. I'm keeping an eye on this press conference, if you will, and this is about the officer involved shooting. The attorney Don Klein is scheduled to discuss this case at 11 a.m. So that's in about a few minutes now, but just kind of wanted to give you a rundown of what happened and what we can expect. Now, this shooting, this was a deputy involved shooting that did involve 19-year-old Janidi Ibrahim. It did unfortunately leave this young man dead. Now, a lot of controversy surrounding this, clearly an officer involved shooting. So this is something that our cameras, we've been following since the start, as I mentioned. Do want to, if we can, head over to our website for you. And this is where our digital team has quickly put this story together to give us a little bit more background, a little bit more information for what we can expect today. One thing that we've been following is the release of this video. This is what the family has been saying that they want to see. And this is something that Sheriff Aaron Hansen has been saying that, you know, he may release certain snippets of this video to the family. We will also hear from him later this afternoon around 2 p.m. But again, let's head over to our website. That's firstalert6.com. So let's head over there. As you can see, this is our top story right now, our breaking live story. Let me refresh this grid for you while we are on our website here. I will click this for you right now. This is the story we're following. So this is the update that we're waiting for around 11 o'clock on this shooting death case. So here's a photograph that we were given to our newsroom that we did put on our website here for you. So this is the decision that is being discussed, okay? And this is on our website if you'd like to follow along. So this is the decision about whether any charges will be filed against the deputy involved in the shooting that unfortunately did kill 19-year-old Janidi Ibrahim. This presser at 11 o'clock, of course, you can find this presser. We are going to air this live for you here at the Alert Center. And here is that photo of 19-year-old Janidi Ibrahim. Again, I mentioned that news conference at 2 o'clock today with Sheriff Hansen, and it will be interesting to see what portion of the video will be released, if at all, right? But Sheriff Hansen did say he is planning at least to show the family a portion of that video. We're not sure what portion of that video the media will be allowed to see or not. So that is to come later today. Excuse me. So scrolling down here, here is the photo of Sergeant Jesse Ronk. This is courtesy of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. This is the officer involved in that shooting. So what happened that night? Authorities said on the night of the shooting, a special operations group was conducting a firearms investigation, and this was near 48th and Pratt Street. So they found a bunch of people kind of scattered about outside of an SUV, excuse me, and a gun with a tactical light was pointed at law enforcement as deputy was approaching this SUV. Now, Ibrahim, as people ran away, Ibrahim was still in the car, and he returned to the driver's seat and was hit by gunfire. Here's that scene for you. At 48th and Pratt in Omaha. This is the date for you on the left corner here, May 22nd, 2025. And as you can see, here are all our videos outlining our coverage here at First Alert 6 on Ibrahim's death. I'll scroll back up to the top of the page for you now. Again, we are waiting for Douglas County officials to give updates on the shooting death of Janidi Ibrahim. We're waiting for County Attorney Don Klein to discuss this case any second now. We're told this is going to happen at 11 a.m. and also Sheriff Aaron Hansen is going to share additional details at 2 p.m. So 2 press conferences today. We know the community has been waiting to learn more about this case in particular. The family members speaking out to several of our reporters here at First Alert 6, just trying to learn more about transparency in this case. They've been asking for several days, for weeks now, to see the video, and Sheriff Aaron Hansen has been saying that he will show the family certain tidbits of the video. It's uncertain at this point if the video will be released to the media at this time or if at all. So we'll have to wait till 2 p.m. to find that out. Meanwhile, again, here's the photo of Janidi Ibrahim. This is a courtesy photo that was sent into our newsroom. And we're taking a look at our webpage, firstalert6.com, right now as we wait for this presser to begin. So this press conference is slated to begin any time now, 11 o'clock. It's now 11:01. I'm keeping an eye on this room here at the Douglas County Courthouse, where County Attorney Don Klein is set to discuss this case. It appears the county attorney has entered the room. I will switch gears now and get that live to you as we speak.
To the Ibrahim family and friends and acquaintances of the deceased. It doesn't matter how it happens, it's always a tragedy when we have the death of a young person. But I find that we've been making far too many decisions about the deaths of young people in Omaha because of young people's infatuation, glorification of firearms. So it's deeply frustrating and troubling to me to have to talk about this all the time. Many times, not all the time, but certainly more than we should have to. So the first thing I want to talk about is responsibilities that I have as the county attorney. In section 23, it talks about it spells out all the duties of a county attorney, and one of them is obviously to, if there's an incident like this that happens, to make a determination if there should be charges filed, if there's enough or sufficient evidence to allow us to file felony charges because we think that person's guilty of the charges that we would bring. And in this case, it's a determination whether the individual who caused the death of Mr. Ibrahim was justified in the actions that they took. So that's another part of the job. We have the law spells out the terms of obviously the elements of crimes, and it also tells us what the law is with regard to use of deadly force and justification for the use of that deadly force. So that's the determination I have to make here, and it's a very narrow focus. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here, is the moments that this incident occurred. Was Sergeant Ronk justified in his use of deadly force? So I'm going to just take you through the facts and look inside of, I guess, Sergeant Ronk's head at the time, how he was involved with a unit involving a total of 3 officers, Deputy Smolin, Deputy Keyser, and then Sergeant Ronk. Deputy Smolin had been involved in investigations with regards to guns. That particular early morning hours, Sergeant Ronk was involved also investigating thefts from construction sites, some things like that. But Deputy Smolin and Deputy Keyser were on the street because Deputy Smolin had seen information, social media posts about guns, and involved an individual he was aware of, and that was Mr. Ibrahim. He had known him from the past. He was aware and had passed the information on to Sergeant Ronk that the deceased was a K family gang member, according to Omaha Gang Intelligence, their gang unit, and had seen social media posts over the course of time, recent time, with the deceased with guns. And I can show you some of those. There's a photo on social media that was posted by Mr. Ibrahim with a large high-powered weapon. This post was made the day before the shooting was May 21st on social media, with a handgun, obviously. And this post was done about, I think it was about 1:49 a.m. that day, that early morning hours of May 22nd. And so the deputies were aware of these posts, and Sergeant Ronk was aware of these posts as he was kept informed about them. Okay, so, and if you were aware of handguns, these are particular kinds of guns. They're guns that have like a laser and a flashlight on them that are used to help the person who's using them aim the gun. So they're aware of that. They're looking to make sure nothing bad happens with regard to these firearms. They're in possession of the deceased. They proceed, two of the deputies proceed to the area that usually Mr. Ibrahim is located at. They don't observe him. Sergeant Ronk goes to an area at 48th and Pratt Street, which is where Ibrahim lived. He's driving by that area. He's in an unmarked Douglas County car. He's got his vest on, it says Douglas County Sheriff gang stuff, uniform in effect. He drives by the location at 48th and Pratt and sees a vehicle parked on the street there. He goes by slowly. During that time period, he sees a light kind of get flashed at him while he's driving the car. He turns around after he advises Deputy Smolin. Smolin says, "Why don't you turn around? I think these people that posted this video are probably in that car. And why don't you see?" So he turns around and goes back down Pratt Street. And at that time, the individuals get out of the car. There are 3 people in the car. 2 of the people run immediately. Sergeant Ronk pulls his car up in front of that car about 60 feet. He comes back towards the vehicle. At that point in time, Mr. Ibrahim is standing outside the vehicle. Sergeant Ronk pulls his gun. He has been previously pointed at with a firearm as he drove by. At that point in time, Mr. Ibrahim's outside the vehicle standing by the car. And as you see, Mr. Ibrahim points the gun at the officer. That's the light that you see there. And that's just a kind of a close-up of that same photo. So at that point in time, Sergeant Ronk has a gun pointed at him. He's yelling commands, stop, 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 and screaming. And he runs towards that person. He says, I think I have to do something. This person has a gun that's pointed at me. He pointed at me before he even knew who I was when I was driving the car down the street. I need to intervene. I need to do something about this. That's my job. And so he continues to move forward. Mr. Ibrahim puts the gun by his side. The light is still on. It's pointed down. Ronk continues to advance towards him, screaming, stop, stop, just stand still, all these commands. Mr. Ibrahim doesn't. He continues to hold the gun. He opens the car door and gets into the car. Sergeant Ronk comes up to the side of the car. He yelling at him to comply, stop. Mr. Ibrahim starts the car. At that point in time, Sergeant Ronk comes up onto the side pillars of the vehicle, comes up to the window. He's standing pretty much above where Mr. Ibrahim's in the driver's seat of the car, started the car. He sees his right hand holding what he believes the firearm and sees him move. And at that point in time, he feels he's an imminent threat to him and he's in danger. Sergeant Ronk fires the weapon. He fires it 4 times. It tells him to, drop the gun, open the car door. Mr. Ibrahim falls onto the pavement. The gun is sitting there on the console with the light still on, this scope or whatever you want to call it, laser light. The other 2 deputies drive up. They immediately call for a squad. They render aid to Mr. Ibrahim. And the scene then is taken over by investigators. Sergeant Ronk is later interviewed. The people that were inside the car, one of them is identified. The vehicle was that person's mother's car. He is interviewed. He says he ran because he knew they had marijuana in the car, and he knew that it was police. He said, he says he heard him say police as he ran towards them several times. We don't hear that, but he says he knew it was a police officer, and that's why he took off. The guns are recovered. The guns are I think it's a .30 caliber Glock handgun with the light or scope on it. The other gun that you see in the other photograph is another 9mm. The Glock has 10 rounds in it in the magazine. The 9mm in the back seat area, it has 1 round in it. So they're both loaded. What occurs then is, like I said, the investigation goes on. The 9mm or the Glock, I'm sorry, was a stolen firearm from in Omaha. It was stolen back in September of 2024. It was a Glock 30 45 caliber with a mounted light and laser combo, is what it's called. So those are what's looked at. The shell casings, there were 4 shell casings recovered outside the vehicle. Those are from Sergeant Ronk's gun. The autopsy was done on Ibrahim the next day, and I don't have the complete autopsy results yet. But I did confirm with the doctor, just so I could tell you, Mr. Ibrahim was shot twice. Both bullets entered up on his left top shoulder towards posterior, right about in here. One entered his shoulder, came down, went out his armpit, and came into his chest, went across his chest. The other entered his shoulder and went directly through his chest. And those are the gunshots that killed him. That was the cause of death, at least from the preliminary data that I have from the doctor. But there's 2 entrance wounds. Actually, there's 3 entrance wounds: an entrance wound, exit wound, and another entrance wound from the same bullet, and then another one that goes in and goes across the chest. That's the cause of death of Mr. Ibrahim. My duties again are to determine if Sergeant Ronk was reasonable in his use of deadly force under the law. I'm very, very familiar with the laws on the use of deadly force. And our jury instruction on deadly force says that under the circumstances that they existed at the time, the defendant reasonably believed, in this case the police officer, that his deadly force was immediately necessary to protect him from death or serious bodily harm by the use or threat of force. So under the circumstances as we looked at them, his use of force was reasonable under the circumstances, in fact, as he reasonably believed at that point in time, unquestionably, as far as I'm concerned. So the next step that happens too, besides the duties of I have to begin with, are under Section 29 of the Nebraska statutes. There's a grand jury that's called, and that grand jury will be an oversight. They will look at all the evidence, same evidence that we have seen here, and make a determination if there was any wrongdoing on the part of law enforcement that caused the death of Mr. Ibrahim. And by statute, the law says the county attorney shall conduct that grand jury and present that evidence. So that will happen once the case is certified and the presiding judge of Douglas County District Court sets the grand jury. We'll handle the grand jury. So that's where things are at. I find that his actions were reasonable under the law. It doesn't take away the tragedy that occurs here, but that's the law, and his actions were appropriate under the law. Anybody have any questions at this point in time?
What was the total time frame when the deputy got out of, his vehicle and started issuing commands?
It's seconds. I think the individual was in the car, so it took less than probably 10 seconds to 14 seconds at the most during this time period. It happens very fast, very fast. He gets out of the car, the gun's pointed at him, he levels his gun, he's screaming commands, and he goes at when the person puts the gun down by their side. Okay?
Now you said those actions are reasonable, so was he justified in the shooting?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He was reasonable, he was justified in using deadly force. That's the question. Because he wasn't the initiator of the deadly force. The individual who had the gun pointed at him when he drove past, he got out to intervene, he gets the gun pointed at him again. That's the initiator of deadly force. And, if Mr. Ibrahim had just dropped the gun on the pavement outside that car, then this wouldn't have happened. But he didn't.
William King, 95.7 The Boss. Being a former probation officer, is it probable cause for an officer to look on social media and surveil individuals from social media, which is a public post? Is that normal procedure for our police? And will they be doing that to other citizens in the community if they see anything that they feel, that they're going to ride by their houses? Is that probable cause? Because
It's not. I didn't say it was probable cause. The probable cause exists though when he points the gun at.
No, I'm talking about why did he go over there? Because he saw social media. So is that normal? Is that normal policing right now?
Sure, police investigate all the time when they have information about people with guns. I could talk about innumerable cases where young people have posted themselves with photos of guns and pointing them at the camera while they take selfies of it. We could talk about the Uber driver murders, the 16s that did that, who were involved in stealing the guns from a gun store in Nebraska City. There are Lenny Rodriguez, a 13-year-old who killed another young person in Hanscom Park, posted all kinds of photos of guns with him. So it's only natural that when we have young people involved in very violent acts that the police are going to investigate, things that people post on social media about the use of those guns or that they have possession of those guns.
So that's a new procedure soon.
Well, it's not new. I mean, they've been.
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to make sure that the community knows what to do and what not to do. And so if they post guns on Facebook or social media, then there is probable cause that the police have a right to go investigate without a crime being commission. Is that correct?
Well, it's public. I mean, the James Sawyer case, the murder case where a young lady was shot sitting out smoking a cigarette in her front yard, and another individual was killed in a car, had posted videos, photos of himself with an AR-15 type rifle prior to those shootings. So if that's public information, certainly law enforcement's going to look at that and they're going to investigate it. No question.
So it doesn't have to be a crime.
I guess
It's an
anything would,
investigative tool.
No, I'm
that's
talking
used
about
all the
firearms. I
time.
mean, so I thought guns are legal in America, correct?
yes.
Okay. So how do you know that he was in a possession or he was not a law-abiding citizen that have a gun? I mean, I'm just looking for any other citizens
Sure.
in the future
Sure. Well,
because people are going to post stuff and they could be legal gun holders, right holders, and the police are going to go over there and investigate. I mean, so is that normal procedure by the police? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, sure, certainly
Okay.
it's normal procedure for
Okay.
them to look at things that are public information in the
Okay.
course of their work.
Okay.
I had a question. So you were saying that Ronk kept saying stop, stop, stop. Did he officially? And then you said that you said that you didn't hear in the video that he announced himself as a deputy or his rank or title or anything like that with the Douglas County Sheriff's. So we don't actually hear, or you guys don't actually hear him announce himself as law enforcement.
No, I did not.
Okay.
In the video I watched, there's a ring video and there's the body cam video. One of the things about the body cam video, the video starts but the audio doesn't come on for like 30 seconds. That's just how the process works. So, but the ring video did show us that he was yelling, fucking stop, police, you know. I don't know if he said the word police, but stop, don't move, all those kinds of things that as he came towards him. And I think that from the person inside the car who ran, it was obvious that they knew once he got out of the vehicle that he was a police officer.
And then also, I wanted to ask, again, you said that when you showed these two videos, or these two pictures, I should say, you said that when Ronk drove by, he noticed that a light was being flashed at him.
Yes.
Is there any identification that was actually a gun and not
Right.
a flashlight? I mean, I know after the fact that you guys found the gun with the tactical flashlight on it, but
Well, that shows what it was.
that looks like a flash. Do you know what I'm saying?
It looks like a flashlight,
Right,
certainly,
yeah.
but he was aware of what had been posted
Okay.
by Ibrahim earlier and was aware that this is the type of gun that he had.
And when he drove by before he parked, he saw the gun in his hand.
Yes,
He said he clearly saw the gun.
yeah, he did say he saw the gun in his hand. Maybe I neglected to mention that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when he drove by the first time, if he thought it was a gun, why didn't he call for backup then? Why would he, I guess, approach a situation that he already had felt was a threat to his life, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question you're going to have to talk to the sheriff about or law enforcement about, any tactical issues or the situation that they did. My determination is simply, was he reasonable in using deadly force in the situation that he was in at the time that it happened?
Another question. You said that he was starting a car. You can't start a car and have a gun in your hand, especially if he's right-handed. It was left in the dash. So how can he start the car and have a gun in his hand at the same time when he got shot? I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. And he got shot from the back. So how can he even see that he even had a gun in his hand when you're starting the car? He said he started the car. So you can't do two things at one time. So I read a lot of investigative reports. You can't do two things at one time. You can't start a car and have a gun in your hand at the same time.
Well,
It was
sure you
on his
can,
right hand.
But I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm just telling you what Sergeant Ronk said. He said he started the car and then he saw his right hand on the grip of the gun and the light was still on, and he made a movement inside the car, and that's when he felt he was in imminent danger. There was no question Ibrahim had a loaded firearm.
But some
There's
people trying
no-
to get away. He's like
Pardon?
just trying to leave the situation. He was trying to leave.
I don't know what was inside his head at the time. he decided-
Well, you know, county attorney. Anytime you start a car, you're trying to leave. And I'm just trying to get the facts because I represent thousands of people that listen to us, and this is the third black male that has been killed, and one has been rehired by the sheriff's office, and that's why this is a very sensitive issue right now in the community.
Well, it should be a sensitive issue for everybody involved. And that's why we looked at it and we scrutinize it the way that we do. But I just look at it from a legal standpoint and the law, and certainly under the circumstances as they existed at the time and Ronk knew them to be, he doesn't have to wait till somebody shoots him before he can use deadly force. Once he's threatened with deadly force, he has the ability to use deadly force to defend himself.
Did the other individuals, like when the deputy got out of the car, that's when they like fled the scene. Did interviewing, you know, them, did he say basically they knew that when they drove by the first time that he was a law enforcement officer?
I don't know if he said at that point in time, but he said that they knew it was police. One person was only interviewed. The other person, we don't know who that person was. But there were 3 in the car, two split as soon as the deputy got out, and one was later found and was interviewed and told them what he remembered.
I just want to confirm, just because I got this question that a viewer wanted me to ask. So there was some speculation, maybe that CMO guy who was arrested out of Fremont, we were initially told he wasn't inside the vehicle at that time. Is that still stand true through your investigation?
Yeah, he was in the vehicle the day before on that
Okay.
video. We're not sure who the third person was that night. So I can't say if he was or wasn't, quite honestly. I don't think he was.
And then just a follow-up to the second social media image that you showed us, with you could see that the gun was faced sideways and it looked like it had a tactical flashlight. Is that the same gun then that was recovered from?
Yes.
It was,
Yeah.
okay.
Those, it's the same gun. If I can go back to that. Let me show you. Sorry. Yeah, both those are the two guns that were recovered. Okay.
So that one and then the
Black
one.
gun is the one that Ibrahim had. The other gun, the 9mm, was found in the car with 1 round in it. The other one had 10 rounds in it.
So the second gun wasn't stolen, or were they both stolen?
It wasn't reported stolen, the second gun. The first one was.
Did Ibrahim make a move in the car?
Yeah, that's one of the things that Rock says, that he was watching the car started, then during that sometime in that period he saw his hand on this, the light was still on, and he made a movement, and at that time is when he fired, because he thought he was going to fire.
And when we saw the gun, the light was still on, we recovered it?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask just about, not often do we see sheriff deputies doing firearm investigations in Omaha proper. We know that this was a special, I guess, want to equate it to a SWAT unit that was, maybe conducting this investigation. Did Ronk say, other than this, is that like something that people should expect more of, that the special operations group is going to be surveilling inside Omaha proper? I mean, was there in your opinion, should there have been communication with Omaha police on what they were doing in there, so they maybe could have been there as a support?
Well, according to Deputy Smolin, there had been communication between the gang unit of Omaha Police and the sheriff's office. Gang unit had said they saw the video also. Smolin told them they were gonna follow up on it. That was the only conversation that they had. But as far as the sheriff's office has jurisdiction throughout Douglas County,
Right.
you'll have to ask the sheriff those kinds of questions. I'm not getting into the tactics or where they were or should be or shouldn't be. Any other questions? Thank you.
Sorry, I have a question. I'm not sure if you know this, but did the sheriff's office have any reason to believe from the social media posts that Ibrahim wasn't supposed to have guns? Or the guns that are in the post?
No, there wasn't anything technically or legally that said he couldn't possess a firearm. If he's a prohibited person, is that what you're asking?
Right, was he prohibited from having firearms or?
No, but there are young people all the time that we see cases from that have firearms, and bad things happen when they use those firearms, and people get hurt and killed and die, and we don't want that to happen. Okay?
Had they been under investigation previously, those people in that house, or?
Well, Mr. Ibrahim had, I think, 3 or 4 different cases in the juvenile court system. One previously that involved a firearm.
So again, it goes back to, man, I feel, being a black man, I feel really unsafe in my community, especially off a post. Then you can die off a post. I mean, especially, that was a great question, especially if they wasn't on a list or anything, if they haven't, in the commission of a crime to go over there, and then all that action happened. If A didn't happen, B wouldn't have never happened. That's all the community is saying. If A didn't happen, B would not have happened. And so I'm very concerned that we got all types of people posting. Are we going to spend all our resources investigating every person that posts guns online when it's legal in America? That's our constitutional right. And so now he's going to be targeted because he has this constitutional right, especially if he wasn't a forbidden person to have a gun. So that really concerns me. Especially he's not a felon, so he's legally can have a gun, and to target him, that makes the community very, very uneasy. So I know you guys got a tough job, but I'm telling you, it's going to get even tougher. This is going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough. It's the third black man dead in less than what, 8 months? 8 months, and so I know you got a tough job. I know you got a tough job, but man, I don't know what to
There's
say.
certainly more than 3 black men who have died over the last couple of years, and
No, I'm talking about the last 8 months by police officers. I'm not talking about over a course of years. I'm talking about the last 3. And then the last one got rehired by the sheriff's office, and so this is like a kick in the face to the community. So I know that's not your office. We appreciate your service, but oh man, this is not good. I'm just letting you know this is not good.
well, I guess, if you want to lecture me, that's
No,
fine.
no, I love you.
Answer
I love
questions
you,
that you might have
Council
about
Klein.
this case, and so,
Yeah.
okay.
I have one more question. You said there were 2 others in the car that ran, and then one was identified and interviewed. What happened to the other one? Do you know?
We don't know who that person was, so. All right, thank you.
To the side. Both guns connected to someone.
I don't know if they were both connected to him or not.
Okay. Do
I
we
don't-
know
we don't
whose
the answer to that.
possession?
He just had them, so.
The DNA was
Yeah, there was DNA that was tracked onto it by him.
by both on both hands.
Yes, partially. One not as much as the other, as far
Okay.
as the profile.
Okay. Also, I have just an unrelated question. You can take it. Okay. So did you ever